Welcome back to another episode of the Cloud Ninja Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are here joined by my co-host, Big Free Game, and of course, again, impeccable Power Scale Melo the Dreamer. But also, we are here with a legend in his own right, NcHammer, for the second time on the Cloud Ninja Podcast. Say what's good, my God, NC.
I'm officially a recurring guest, so I'm doing great. I feel fantastic.
Big facts. Answer back really quick too when I emailed you. Thank you for being the guest with us again.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I'll get back on there. I had fun the first time around, so yeah, might as well, right?
Pleasure having you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pleasure having you.
We were actually discussing the last time that we had you on a podcast. Do you remember how much subscribers you had?
I was somewhere in like the 40-50 range, I think.
Right,
yeah.
Bro. I thought you was at 100 at the time.
Yeah.
You was
No,
right.
I think I was this was probably back in December-ish. So yeah, it was probably 40-50, something like that.
Okay. Well, congratulations, because you done skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Insane.
the algorithm is what people say, but yeah, so people say the algorithm likes me. I think I bust my ass, but yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Both. Definitely both.
Probably, yeah.
And you're very consistent, so that helps out.
The algorithm,
thing,
the
dude.
algorithm
3 times a
likes
week.
people who bust their ass. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what's really been tough. It's funny because like I don't know, it was pretty instant. And it's been pretty consistent on NcHammer 23, but I've started this new gaming channel. And like this, like I'm really like I'm going through like the true YouTuber experience right now. Like I guess not, because like I've only had the page for like 3 weeks and we're at 7K subs, but like, it's like I'm like, oh my God, we got like 2,000 views on this video. I was like, let's go. And meanwhile, main page, I'm doing like 200K a day, and I'm like, I'm like way more stoked on like 2,000 people watching my Subnautica video than like me explaining like how Naruto should have wood release.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's definitely how it is when you got like a main channel, but then you got a second channel that's definitely gaining steam. It's like you feel like a smaller YouTuber again, bro.
Yeah, it brings back all the joy.
Is that how you feel, Baru, with the podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah. Remember the first time that we went over 1,000 views on one of the videos and then one of the podcasts? Yeah, it was insane. Oh, so I had to ask NC. When I remember the first time that I seen your channel, I essentially said that this guy's probably gonna hit over 100,000, even like very, very quickly. Did you believe that at the time?
Yeah. I mean, fortunately for me, I've been in content for a long time, and I had a pretty significant. I was back when I started the YouTube channel. I was probably at like 400, 500K on TikTok, something like that. Maybe even higher. And I had this like super incredible dude reach out to me. He's like, listen, like you have the potential, like we just gotta get you on YouTube. And first video I posted, 110,000 views, like Crumb is not actually dead. And I was like, oh, so that's what this is really all about then. So, I mean, like I saw the growth and like, I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like so disgruntled with content because like Twitch wasn't really clicking, and TikTok, it was TikTok. It pays pennies on the dollar. So no, I mean, he was my editor's instrumental in all of that, and getting me to believe in myself and all of that. So yeah, no, I mean, I guess I had faith. But it's always scary.
Yeah, you never know until it really happens. You never know until you know, right?
Yeah.
Wow, this is insane. All right, so another question about your growth, probably the last one for me. What's the difference? What's the difference from right now and like when you were like a smaller YouTuber / TikToker still trying to make it? Is there like do you see a difference in like the YouTube, how it is to you, like things of that nature?
It's funny. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch my old videos and I'll just be like, I was like, there's like so many things that I wouldn't do nowadays. Like there's so many things I would change, so many things I would update, like, and like, and it's a matter of both me and my editor getting better. Like we're both learning what people are looking for. We're upping our thumbnail games, our title games, like getting a hook in early, those kinds of things. So I go back and I watch like these videos that have like 500,000 views on my page, like the Akatsuki ranked, and I'm like out of the frame. My lighting's terrible. Like the cuts aren't right. We're not. There was like 2 months where we didn't use videos because we were afraid we were gonna get flagged for like copyright and all that. And I was like, dude, everybody out here is using videos. I was like, we're only using photos right now. I was like, we gotta up it. So I'm probably gonna go back and update some of those, but I don't know, just comfortability nowadays, I guess. Like I sit down in front of the computer and I'll riff with somebody's comment. Like I had a video recently and it did really well, but people were like, yo, what if Rock Lee got Joshinism? And I was like, I'm gonna do a what if on that, and that's what's coming out Tuesday. And so we're like on Tuesday I'm gonna do like a 25-minute like episode essentially about my first ever what if Rock Lee got the blessing of Lord Joshin. So just comfortability and just leaning into it.
That's what's up. Facts. I've been seeing that you've been doing some other things too as well, like you've been covering Hunter x Hunter and different animes as well.
Well, Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime of all time, so like I try and sneak it in whenever I can. But like,
you excited about the new? You excited about the new arc that they're animating?
Don't even get me started. I'll start screaming.
Goodness, yes.
Don't even.
I'm so excited, bro.
When I heard the news, I was in Athens. I was on vacation with my girlfriend, and it was like middle of the day in Athens. I like open TikTok. People are like, Hunter's getting new chapters like this. I was like, I've played this game before. I was like, I've been here. I've gotten my heart broken. I'm looking into everything. I'm getting into Twitter leaks. People are like, mangaka, the One Punch Man mangaka says that this is his like Twitter, and I'm going crazy. I make a video. And what's funny is I was gone for like a month in Europe, so I couldn't come on earlier. Mm-hmm. And I had filmed what happens after the anime in Hunter x Hunter video. And I was like, I texted my editor. I was like, there's no way we lined this up. So I had to film like an intro in Athens and all that. It was sick.
Yeah, because I remember on April 1st, they hit us with an April Fool's joke saying Hunter x Hunter was coming back. So when I saw it again, I was like, nah, I don't believe it.
I might have made one or two of those on TikTok. I might have been. Good. Listen, it hurt. I was like, can you be mad at me if it hurt me probably more than it hurt you to make the joke? Like I was like, I don't enjoy doing this.
It was all on Twitter. I didn't see it on TikTok per se, but I saw it all on Twitter. Like everybody was dropping, and I was like, get out of here. And I was like, it's April 1st. Okay. What am I thinking?
Exactly. You can't believe anything on April 1st. My thing is like, we gotta let Togashi breathe. That's my thing. Is like, so like I have a full Hunter x Hunter sleeve. Like if anybody tries to like, I will go to Shonen Jump and jump down their throat if they try to make Togashi rush on this. Like I want this man to like, I don't care if I get one chapter a month. I've been the biggest proponent of him just writing a light novel and letting somebody else draw it down the line. Like that's all as long as the story ends. That's all I need out of Hunter x Hunter. I don't even need the anime. I just want to know, like, I want to see Kurapika and Leorio in the Dark Continent. That's what I want.
Wait, hold on. So they're just continuing the manga? I thought the anime was continuing. I guess I read it.
No. So Togashi, the mangaka of Hunter x Hunter, is coming back. He said 4 more chapters on Twitter. So as to whether or not it's gonna be a long time till we get enough stuff to recontinue the anime, but the manga's coming back.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was the anime. I got excited. Okay, the manga's cool too. I'm cool with the manga.
Yeah. So did the anime catch up to the manga, or did they like play?
There's still a good amount. There's the Heaven's Arena. Yeah, so it's gonna be Leorio and Kurapika in the Dark Continent. Essentially, Hisoka flees to the Dark Continent. The Phantom Troop goes looking for him. And it's gonna be. I swear to God, it's gonna be the Dark Triad arc of Black Clover. It's just unfortunate that it's gonna be a long time till it gets animated. It's gonna be the best arc. It really is. I'm so stoked on it.
You're speaking French to Barra. He has no idea what you're talking about, right?
I know.
You said the Dark Triad arc in Black Clover. I know what you're talking about. I'm a big Black Clover fan, but I'm like Barra.
So good.
Dark.
So good, dude.
I've never seen a lick of Black Clover or a Hunter x Hunter. But
if you like Naruto, you will like.
That's what I told him. That's what I told him.
Black Clover is Hunter. It's. I mean, Black Clover is Naruto 2.0.
It is. Yep. Well, so it came. I thought Hunter x Hunter came first.
Hunter x Hunter did come. No, Hunter x Hunter came before Naruto. Black Clover came after Naruto. So I'm saying Black Clover is just like
got
Naruto.
You. Okay. I thought you said Hunter. Okay. I hear what you're saying. All right,
so Boruto Pack hitting Hunter x Hunter supremacy. I like this. I like that. Keep that up, Boruto Pack hitting. Yes, please.
All right, so if you were to rank 1 through 3, Hunter x Hunter, Black Clover, and Naruto, what would you rank it?
This is the wrong podcast to have this
Captain
conversation.
Yami.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. Listen. I love Naruto. I've all the love of my soul for Naruto, and Naruto is better than Black Clover at the moment. But Black Clover is the ideally paced anime. There is 10 filler episodes in Black Clover, and each one of them is recap. But it goes Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, Black Clover. But I mean, if Black Clover ran for 750 episodes, bro. Oh my goodness.
So you enjoy the pacing of Black Clover?
I love it, dude. I love Black Clover so much. I'm getting a Noel tattoo in a couple of months. I'm so stoked on it.
Captain Yami is my favorite. They say he's not a main character, but he's my favorite MC of all
he's
anime.
Asuma. He's Asuma. If I have a whole video about it, he's Asuma if he got isekai'd into the Black Clover universe.
I like that. That's definitely who he is. Like his attitude, like the way he presents himself. Like
the smoking, everything.
Yep. Everything.
Black hair, all of it.
Except for he's a little bit funnier though.
Yeah, oh, for sure. He got a sense of humor after he died to Hidan, the weakest member of the Akatsuki. How could you not laugh at yourself?
Oh my goodness. Oh man. So have you been keeping up with Boruto though, or are you just like strictly just Naruto?
It's actually fun. No. It's funny. I have been. To a little bit. So we're on what, episode 255 right now?
Yeah.
So I'm on 243. I just made a video about like the next generation of Kage, and I was like talking like, oh, it's got to be like Sarada, and it's got to be like, Seki and all these other people. And I was like, obviously Kagura. And everyone was like,
oh my
somebody's not caught up with Boruto. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like,
Yo,
what do you
that
mean?
hurt for me. That hurt me too, bro. That hurt.
It hurt Boruto too, and the animator.
It hurt Boruto and the animator.
Yo, that meme is gonna live forever. Forever.
Oh, Boruto screaming.
Because people don't know it's injured, but also like, here's my thing. You're Boruto, right? You are the follow-up of Naruto. How do you have one animator?
Yo, that's facts.
Like I have more editors. I have more editors than Boruto has animators. How does that happen?
Oh man, is that why
they have like that? Yo, there's like a rotating cast, but I've always thought that they should hire more people. That's just my personal opinion. Not only that, if they do hire more people, they have to be elite. I know. So recently, in some of the episodes, they kind of hired. Yeah, they kind of hired new people that weren't necessarily like seasoned veterans, and that's why we got some of the questionable animations and things such as that. But I believe for a series like Boruto that has all the hype of Naruto, things like that just cannot happen in my personal opinion. It has to be pristine. I understand this because it's a weekly anime, it's not necessarily seasonal. So you're gonna get some episodes like that, but that specific episode when Kagura dies, that cannot happen. I'm sorry.
Especially around such like what is arguably a monumental moment in the show. Okay, but here's my thing. I want to talk to y'all about this because Kagura is technically a canon character. He exists in a novel, right? He's in Boruto's first novel, I believe. So like he's not anime only canon. He's full canon. So you kill a full canon character outside of like canonicity. Now we're killing manga canon characters in anime canon episodes. What do you guys have feelings on that?
Well, the whole Boruto anime is canon. I don't necessarily think anything was filler. Oh, don't get me wrong. The Chocho arc's filler. Konohamaru arc's filler. Shout out to Saran. Hopefully he's not in the chat listening to me. But a lot of those kind of arcs, they're filler. But this particular arc, I view it similar to like the Mitsuki retrieval arc. It's not necessarily called that, but when Inoki died in that arc, it's canon. These people can die in these types of arcs, but it's just that it's not necessarily going to get the respect from the fans. And of course, the fans are going to feel a little bit slighted because they feel like this is a filler arc because that has nothing to do with the Kado organization code or the Karma Seal.
That's fair. Yeah. And I just think it's like, man, I don't know. Cause like, who do you guys think? Like next generation, like we got Sarada, right? But like, I feel like when we were in Naruto, definitely by the time we were 250 episodes in here, we had a better idea of who we're looking at for a next generation, at least from like, I mean, I guess with the Sand, we had Gaara and now we have Shinki, but like, I mean, did we actually, cause I don't know. Mizukage was Chojuro. We didn't meet him until Shippuden.
Well, we have an idea of those characters. Like, let's say Shinki, we understand that he's probably going to be up there in somewhere. But for the other characters in the other villages, they haven't necessarily stepped up to like a Shinki level or a Kagura level. And one of the things that's probably the reason behind that is because a lot of the actual plot isn't really going to be dealing with other villages. It's going to be dealing with the Kado organization. It's going to be so much focus around that, also the Otsutsuki as well, and so much focus around Kawaki and Boruto. And a lot of people don't necessarily like that. Mel talks about this as well. You can't necessarily like slight the side characters too much, mainly because it just becomes a series about the two main characters and the villains, which a lot of people don't necessarily like. They want to see other characters, from other villages jump in. People even ask me about Killer B. When's Killer B coming back? A bunch of characters like that. Like people want to see the side characters, but also keep it focused on the main characters, but also incorporate some side characters so they can also build their reputation and, of course, respect in fans. I don't know. It's like a dance now.
See, the thing is, the best we've gotten out of Killer B is when that kid with the bubble gum and the tuning exams was wearing a Gyuki pendant. That's basically the closest thing we've gotten to see Killer B.
Oh, he was a Killer B lookalike, huh? Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, not in like all the ways, but like, yeah, he definitely had the same vibe. He had the vibrato swords, the the pendant, all that. So I mean, like him, I see as like next Raikage, that'd be huge. But like, I don't know. There's definitely I definitely want the ensemble. That's why I think Black Clover is so good, is because Black Clover does a really good job of fleshing out the ensemble. Like it's like there's a whole Black Bulls team, which is like 12, 13 people.
But
and it doesn't really exactly, and their backstories, and their motivations and all of that. So like that, if anything, like Kawaki and Boruto are awesome characters, and I think Boruto's actually, I stand on this take, I think Boruto is one of the better written characters in anime. Of all the people that you start out hating and then work your way towards loving, like Boruto's it. And I think Kawaki also is a very interestingly written character. I don't like that Mitsuki and Sarada are taking a back seat because I think Mitsuki brings a very interesting tie to the Ototsukis with the moon and Toneri. And I think Sarada was Kishimoto's one opportunity to write a powerful woman. So I don't know. I don't like them taking a back seat, but Kawaki and Boruto, man, they're great.
Well, I gotta ask you, since you just said that about Boruto.
Yeah.
Is Boruto a better character than Asta?
I would say Asta is like Naruto, right? Asta starts out, he doesn't necessarily, or even closer to Rock Lee, if anything, like he doesn't start out with the power system of the world. And then through hard work, he works himself up to the top of the spectrum without actually ever using, technically, the power system of the world. Like how Rock Lee, and Might Guy essentially builds up their entire power system without ninjutsu or genjutsu. So I'd say Asta he's different because they represent different things. I think Boruto represents finding your identity in the shadow of, a larger personality, while Asta represents, what a lot of Naruto is about, hard work.
I think he's like kind of like Naruto in aesthetics wise. Like he was super loud at the beginning and then calmed down, started to get a little bit more mature as the story progressed.
Yeah. And you had to switch to dub because you're like, this sub yelling is literally murdering me.
Absolutely.
It's tough. It's an uphill battle the first 30 episodes. You gotta bite your teeth.
Yeah, I heard about that. Well, have you seen dubbed Boruto or heard dubbed Boruto?
I have. So
sound disappointed.
I do not like Boruto's voice. Boruto's voice messes with me. I don't know why. I love Boruto's voice in Japanese. Something about his voice in dub just throws me. I can't do it.
I think they got better with Boruto's voice. At first, I believe it was unbearable. Like the first 15 episodes, the first arc was kind of unbearable. Once he became a Genin and his voice kind of matured a bit, even though it's the same voice actor, it got a tad bit better. But I still do believe it can be better. They should kind of rectify that. But I don't want to get too much off topic. After I asked about the Asta, who else I got to ask about? Boruto or Gon?
So I get a lot of hate for how much I love Gon, because people say like, oh, he's super, like he's so plain,
How about to say he is a very flat character? I was about to say that.
But yeah, and that's totally fine. You can have that opinion.
Like Goku.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, I guess he is a lot like Goku, but I think Gon you have to look at through the lens of also looking at Killua. Because Killua and Meruem, specifically in the Chimera Ant arc, are meant to act as foils against each other. So Meruem is slowly becoming human, playing, like games with humans, and him and Komogi like brings him to humanist. Gon is slowly becoming a monster. And so you see the swap between the two of them, and eventually it ends with Gon becoming a monster against Pito, and Meruem dying a human. And essentially Gon dies a monster as well until he's brought back by Aluka. And so I adore Gon's actually one of my favorite MCs ever. I also like the dumb, punchy, angry MCs though. So I love Yuji Itadori. I love Goku. I love Gon. So I have bias there.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of slander on the Chimera Ant, I should say. Sorry, not Arc Ant. A lot of people say that it's too slow.
See, okay, here's my thing. Hunter x Hunter is arguably, except for the fact that it's not finished, is the perfect, like, it's like Berserk and Hunter x Hunter, to me, are the perfect animes. because
well,
people
you haven't seen all the animes then. That's just my personal. Yeah, you haven't seen all the animes then.
listen. I'll admit I haven't seen every single one. But like,
And see,
okay,
this is from a dude that's seen like 3 animes. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah, Steins Gate is
okay.
also up there. You know, we got a couple of other ones. But people complain about Hunter x Hunter because it's too wordy, the manga. But there's a reason that nobody goes into Hunter x Hunter plot holes, and it's because there is none. Like, and it's the same thing with Berserk. It's like, you know, like old style, like manga, like push it. Like the universe in Hunter x Hunter is so fleshed out. So to get that part like of the Chimera Ant art like fleshed out, because they were also scaling the power systems with conditional Nen rules and a couple of other things like that, really made it seem like it was slow. But I love it. I have like 4 Chimera Ant arc tattoos. But the thing is also all the other Hunter x Hunter like arcs are so fast that it made it seem slow. But I love the Chimera Ant arc. It's my favorite arc.
Yeah, that's my favorite arc too. I was like, I don't understand what's the big deal about it. Like, I don't
Dark
mind.
Confidence about to be better though, that's for sure.
I haven't read the manga. Please don't spoil for me, please.
Oh, trust me, it would take me half an hour to spoil it for you. Trust me.
Hey, we ain't got nothing but time. But please don't spoil
you. I have a question for you. Hunter x Hunter is your favorite anime, you said?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Yu Yu Hakusho?
I love Yu Yu. I love everything Togashi's ever done. I think the dark tournament arc is probably the best tournament arc has ever been done. I love Yu Yu.
Wow. Okay.
Well, all right. Now the reason why I say you haven't seen all the anime, my personal opinion, even though I haven't seen a full thing, One Piece is one of the legendary animes.
This guy's watched 3 animes.
I'm actually, you know, it's funny. I'm in a process of watching One Piece right now, like every other fucking person. But I'm actually actively watching 3 or 4 episodes a day. I just got to Eneru or Enel. He's got different names in sub and dub. But I'm in Skypiea, and you know what's funny? Everybody's out there like being like, oh, Skypiea is so slow. Skypiea is this, that. I'm loving Skypiea. I'm living for One Piece, and I think I'm enjoying One Piece for the right reasons, because I'm enjoying One Piece because of like the connections that like all the characters have. Like watching them all interact makes me so happy. So I'm living for like One Piece right now.
What episode is that?
170-ish.
Dang.
Oh, that's way past all.
Skypiea, with no spoilers, it's one of the most important arcs in the entire.
I heard yeah, the new arc made Skypiea like which is funny because a lot of people skipped Skypiea, and I heard Skypiea is like one of the most important arcs nowadays. So I'm watching intently because like I'm kind of doing long planning for myself. Listen, how long am I gonna be able to talk about Naruto 3 times a week on YouTube? Facts. Well, you know what? It's the other most popular anime on earth. I gotta get studied up.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it is coming to an end relatively soon, but they've been saying that for the last 5 years. So.
Yeah, I like One Piece was ending in episode 700, and here we are. What, 1030?
Yeah. Oh, now it's actually a good time to get started though, because we're kind of winding down the manga in a certain arc. We're about to start something new. But yeah, no, definitely diversify for sure.
Hey, Mel.
Oh yeah,
Mel. I guess this is a question for you. How much of a gap is it between the anime and the manga for One Piece?
It's not that far at all.
It's only like one arc, right? It's like anime's on Roof Piece, manga's on the next one.
Yeah, well, the manga's about to. Okay, well, they're both in the same arc, the Wano arc, and they're relatively close right now. The anime is firing on all cylinders. It's pretty amazing. Like you said, Roof Piece. If you know, you know. Don't want to spoil anything. But the manga is wrapping up this particular arc right now. We have a few more loose threads, but we're about to move forward. So it's a really good time to cover it. But it's not far at all. But I think the anime is about to go on break if I have my information correct. But
I mean, they deserve it, bro. They got all their stuff stolen. I mean, like I would have taken a break a long time ago if I was Oda.
I know the manga is about to go on a month break, which gives me some time to stockpile some One Piece content as well. So yeah.
That's huge for you. Yeah, it must be nice having an anime that like works on the same arc. It couldn't be Boruto, right? Just waiting for code any day now. That'd be huge.
So you're all caught up with the manga then, right?
Yeah. Okay. I've read the manga. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did have one question since Baro was asking you about characters, okay? Because Yusuke Urameshi is my favorite shonen main protagonist.
We doing Spirit Gun out here. Gotcha.
With one caveat, North American dub, okay? There's one dub where he's called Eugene. No. So I have no idea how you get from Yusuke to Eugene. I mean, maybe.
I want to hear Kiyobara say that. Eugene.
So like like how do you feel about Yusuke Urameshi in terms of
Yusuke? I mean, Yusuke Urameshi, you're talking Yu's main protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. You know, what's funny is usually I first off love a pompadour. I mean, I get he doesn't like it's more slick back. What's funny is though I don't usually like I'm not usually like the biggest guy on like the dark brooding personalities. Like I hate Sasuke. I love Killua, but he's an exception. I was a bigger fan of Hiei and Kazuma. Those were my two guys because, like I said, I adore a pompadour. And I loved the energy Kazuma brought to like the show, and Hiei was also just such a cool character design, and like him in the 80s, like in the 90s, like animation style was just so cool. But I love Yusuke. He's definitely iconic, and he influenced all. Like that's what we don't talk about is how many like MCs he influenced. And, you know, and he was influenced by Astro Boy and everything down the line. Shonen is a flat circle. But no, Yusuke is definitely iconic, but he's not all time for me, you know.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, he did influence Boruto. What the Rasengan? It's almost like a spirit.
So, yeah, exactly.
You're right about that. Yeah.
All right, this is kind of interesting because you said you're up to, let's say, almost episode 200 of One Piece, and we understand that Naruto Part 1 had about 200 episodes.
220.
And I know this is kind of unfair, but in your opinion, at this point, is One Piece better than Part 1 of Naruto?
See, honestly, here's the thing: the highs are so high with OG Naruto, right? Like. First, you know, but how many?
You got to think about Orochimaru. You got to think about Kimimaro. You got to think about Sasuke retrieval.
Yeah, all of it. And Land of Waves arc to this day is probably my favorite arc in all of Naruto. I love Land of Waves. Zabuza and Haku are the people who got me into anime. So I love OG Naruto, but you can't talk about OG Naruto without acknowledging the fact that the last 90 episodes were filler. 140 to 220. I think it ends 141 is when they're ready for the time skip. Time skip happens 220. So like, I love OG Naruto, but I've actually come out and say this was before the 50 episodes of filler. But I used to sit on the take that Boruto, this was after, you know, like Baryon mode Naruto, is better than OG
Speak
Naruto.
Your mind, partner. Speak your mind, partner.
Oh, so this was back when the faith was there, and we were like episode 150 to 220. I was like, this right here is the best 60 to 70 episode arc in the history of Naruto. Like the introduction of Kara all the way up through Jigen and Ishiki. I mean, that I was glued to my seat. So I'm gonna have to say no. OG Naruto probably's got a leg up on the first 200 or so of One Piece. I liked Alabasta. I liked Arlong Park, and I'm enjoying Skypiea. But there's just the pacing of those Land of Wave arc, the tuning exams, all of that, man. I mean, except until you talk about Orochimaru versus Hiruzen. But like until you get to that point, like it's heat. It's heat. So no, I gotta give it to OG Naruto in that regard.
Okay.
So does that also mean the first 220 episodes of Boruto is better than the first 200 episodes of One Piece?
Maybe, yeah, probably. If I'm going flat 200, and the thing is, it's like I said with Boruto, it's the highs and the lows, right? So if we're not talking the last filler arc and all of that, and you're giving me straight up through Ishiki. I mean, and there we have a couple of really good arcs. The tuning exam arc is better than the movie. I loved the Shin Uchiha arc because I was one of my favorite light novels. Because Sakura got to shine. I didn't mind the Mitsuki retrieval arc. I thought the dude Inoki made to basically be himself was like honestly one of the strongest ninjas ever created. The way he could spam that Kekimora or Kekitoda, and then
Cool is different.
Yeah, and then the Kara arc is incredible. I mean, obviously we have a couple of sleepers in there. Like we have the Chocho arc, we have the prison arc. I don't even remember a couple other ones. But then we also have
falling in love. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we have my favorite episode in the entirety of Naruto lore, which is Family Day, which is based off, once again, another light novel, the Family Day light novel. And I was like, seeing Himawari and Naruto hang out, like felt like my entire life had like I was like, So happy. So watching that, it was like a peak moment for me. It was like rewatching Hinata and Naruto's first kiss at the end of the last all over again. I was so happy. Everything I wanted was like coming together. So yeah, probably I got to give it to Boruto in that regard.
Yeah, that's fine.
When it comes to like, if you're trying to compare something to like One Piece, you have to do like take One Piece at its highest heights and compare it to.
Like I'm not even on Wano yet. I'm not even Water 7. Like wait till I get to Water 7, then ask me.
Yeah, exactly. So like One Piece starts to hit its stride around Water 7, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So around there, that's when One Piece really starts to like take off. So if you're trying to compare like the beginning of One Piece to something else, then One Piece is a bit slow for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
The first 20 or so episodes are tough.
And then the animation style makes that even harder because it's kind of dated. And then like the manga is so long, the anime is so long, and then like the beginning is so like tough to get through. All that comes together to form like this perfect combination of just things that make this show difficult to even start.
Yeah.
But you
like Axe Hand Morgan. You remember who Axe Hand Morgan is? Like no, like nobody remembers Axe Hand Morgan.
But I can understand why no one else would.
Exactly. Right. Once you get to Nami's backstory and you get into Arlong Park and there's her and her tattoo and all of that, like that's when the show to me picks up.
Right. And with One Piece being like one of the original big three, like Bleach and Naruto, if you're comparing Boruto's highest heights to One Piece's highest heights, to me, it's not even comparable.
Oh, no, it can't be.
Wins out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It seems like One Piece is a whole different type of anime, though. It seems like One Piece, you're just like going along for the journey with the characters. Even though I haven't really watched it like that, I watched like you guys said the most unbearable episodes, which I thought was actually pretty good. I got to like episode 40, but it just seemed like you were just going along with the ride with them, so I didn't really mind it.
Well, I feel like that's when people talk about like loving One Piece, they talk about how you feel like you're part of the crew.
Right.
Like that's when One Piece gets its hooks in you, like the dichotomy of like the different relationships on the crew and the fact that they're usually adding a bunch of new people. Like people, when they get their hooks into One Piece, they usually talk like, I just love seeing what they're up to, like the shenanigans.
It's like OG Dragon Ball, where Dragon Ball Z is more like battle shonen sci-fi type of energy. When OG Dragon Ball it's like comedy, battle shonen, but also adventure. Right, you go from spot to spot, location to location, world building. That's one of the beautiful things about One Piece is its grand world, and it's always lived in. Even there are events that happen that don't need the main character to be directly influencing it. It's really great. So the thing that you get out of One Piece probably is going to be completely different than the thing that you would get out of something like your conventional battle shonen, just because of that adventure aspect for sure.
Yeah, 1,000. Now, in regards to like kind of other animes that you watch and see, one of my personal favorites has to be Death Note. Have you watched Death Note?
Yes, I've seen Death Note.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you brought it up, Bar.
Okay, what about Death Note?
And you don't have Death Note as number one? No, Death
as
Note is
number one? Oh my goodness.
No. Death Note is my number 2.
Got you.
Well, where do you have Death Note?
I'm happy that you're now identifying as a 14-year-old goth and putting Death Note in your top 2. No, I'm fucking with you. No, I love Death Note. I really do.
He called you a 14-year-old goth.
No. But for real, Death Note's really, really good. My only problem is, my thing with Death Note, I love it. It's an interesting premise. Like an average kid like wants to become God. The whole death, like it's also iconic, because people are like, oh, what would I do with the Death Note? So like anime that make you ask questions, I always find are really interesting. And Death Note, more than a lot of other anime, maybe AOT is the only one that makes you ask more questions than Death Note. It does a really good job of that. My problem is the best character in Death Note dies. And I'm not talking Light. I'm talking L. L is
we can't spoil.
Oh yeah, my bad. My bad. If you haven't seen the 10-year-old anime,
right?
My bad.
I just watched it. I just finished it. A month ago, guys. I don't remember when I finished.
While I have you guys here, what is the Mortier? Like, what is like the statute of limitations?
I think because we primarily talk about Boruto. Since we primarily talk about Boruto, we don't really attract Death Note fans, and because that us talking about it might be the first time that they heard about it. So I'm a bit more, you feel me? I'm a bit more. I forgot what's the word for this. Well, I'm a bit more conscious. I'm conscious of that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So,
Yeah, no, Death Note's incredible. It really is. But I think there's honestly better versions of Death Note. I think Death Note doesn't even do Death Note as well as other animes do Death Note. I propose to you an anime that you probably haven't seen, but an anime I have a tattoo of, Future Diaries, aka Mirai Nikki.
Never seen
that. Okay, you see, this is if you like Death Note, you will love Mirai Nikki. And it is essentially, what was that one that the Death Note mangaka made a new anime and it was terrible? Platinum End, yes. So it's like, it's basically everything that inspired Platinum End, but significantly better. And I say watch that, or watch Death Parade, which is made by the same animation company that made Death Note. Actually, Light actually shows up in it, funnily enough. But I think Death Note's really, really good. It's in my top 15. It's just, I think there's other shows that do detective, dark, and brooding a little bit better.
Have you ever seen Code Geass?
Oh, of course. Code Geass.
This man is cultured.
See, Lelouch's top. I mean, Lelouch's top culture when we're talking about MCs. Yeah. Also, Nigel's got me on the Mirai Nikki is so good. Thank you, Nigel. I appreciate it.
Yo, while we're on Death Note though, Bar had asked me this question. Gotcha. L, or what's his name? Neil. What's dude's name? I can't remember right now.
Yeah, the new one. Neil.
Yeah,
Near.
There you go. Yeah. So, which one do you think is smarter?
L or Near?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, in the end, isn't it Near who catches Light? But like at the same time, like Light slips up, right? I gotta give it to Light. I gotta give it to L. Just because, well, it's probably personal bias. I mean, if we're being entirely real, it's personal bias.
I think it is too.
I mean, like, so L is basically like this genius, and then they try to recreate L with Near, right? I mean, they're basically trying to like form another L. So, I mean, the imitation is always going to be the imitation. I want the pure, genuine article. I'm taking L.
Thank you.
I don't know. Jordan was an imitation of Dr. J. I don't know. The thing about Near and the L relationship, I think a lot of people kind of romanticize L because he was like the first guy. It's like the why am I forgetting words? It's like nostalgia when you think about L. But I personally believe some decisions that Near was making, I don't think that L would have came close to those decisions. And in fact, like, there were times where it seemed clear that Near was like significantly smarter than L, and I never really got that from L.
Yeah.
I mean, significantly smarter than Light. I mean, my bad. And I never really got that from L.
See, my thing is like, you know, like using like the Japanese broadcast, like identifying like he's Japanese, like all of these kinds of things. Like I was like, this man, he would catch me in a heartbeat. Like, let's be entirely real.
Thank you.
None of us would escape. And everyone's like, oh, I would have the Death Note. I was like, not if L's in that universe, bro. You're getting caught in 2 seconds.
The thing that I always have to tell Boruto is like, L had to start from scratch. Near started off with L's work, so he had like something to stand on, whereas L had nothing. Like he was just pulling strings like out of the air.
Lelouch's top 2 MC all time. Oh my goodness. See, all right, I want to go back to Code Geass for a second because I want to talk about the Pizza Hut sponsored anime. Lelouch. Oh, did you not? So Pizza Hut actually sponsored Code Geass. So if you watch through Code Geass, you'll see a bunch of Pizza Hut ads. It's really funny actually. Go back and rewatch it one time. It's awesome. But Lelouch to me represents the archetype of. And are you guys watching AOT?
Attack on Titan. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Of course.
That's my number one, by the way. That's my number one.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I think, and since we're talking about Death Note, I guess it's also a good lateral. But like, do you guys, when the protagonist becomes the antagonist, do you guys think that like communities like wild support for them just because they were once the protagonist is unjust?
It depends. If there's a situation
situational,
like
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, if there's a situation like an Attack on Titan where you don't fully know if you should be supporting the main character or not, and it's not necessarily clear that the main character is
hold up.
evil.
Full pause. Don't know fully if you should be supporting the main character?
Yes, because
this man is going to kill the whole world.
Hey, man.
Whose side do you want? Are you an Eldian?
Well, I say he's killing everybody that's not Eldians, though. So
yeah, I know.
I'm happy I don't have to make that decision. You feel me? But in my personal opinion, Aaron has a right to his opinion. at this particular time, I don't necessarily agree with the way that he's going about it, but you have to understand where he's coming from. And the Eldians, I'm pretty sure some of them actually do agree with Eren. And of course, some of the fans also kind of see where Eren is coming from. Not only do they want to kill off everybody of his family, everybody who's actually on his land. So if that's the case, why not Eren try to do the exact same to the people on the other side? I don't know. It's like a catch-22.
We got a man playing devil's advocate for genocide out here. Let's go, baby.
Have you guys finished the manga? Nobody finished the manga.
I'm done with the manga.
No.
Bar hasn't finished the manga. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, I haven't. This is dynamic that I personally have. I want to get y'all opinions about this. If there's an anime, in my personal opinion, that rises to the level of Attack on Titan, where I think it's in my top 3, I personally won't cover it on any like YouTube tour or anything like that, because I personally feel like I want to enjoy it as a fan, not as a critic.
Yeah,
got you.
I feel you on that.
Interesting, because like I feel like I bring so much more passion to something when I'm the one like talking about, like if I'm talking about Hunter x Hunter, people are like, man, your eyes glow when you talk about Hunter x Hunter, and I'm like, bro, I know, because I live for it. I live for talking about Hunter x Hunter. I love Naruto. I love talking about it. So like, just like having the opportunity to talk about the stuff I love, like it's the reason I do this, you know, because like I'm like, listen, I'll sit here and chat about, you know, anime till the cows come home. Like I see anybody with an anime tattoo, I'm sitting them down and we're talking. Yeah. So like, if I can talk to somebody about Hunter x Hunter, if I can make a video about Hunter x Hunter, I love that. But that makes sense. It's like whenever I go and do things, like I don't like vlog them. You know, because I don't want like, listen, like everyone's like, I have a bunch of content I live in LA. So like it's content creation everywhere. So like there's so many people, it's like, oh dude, let's go hang out. Let's go to like this new like bar or something. And it's like, they have like their cameramen with them. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck was I invited here for, you know? So like, I definitely feel like not mixing business and pleasure.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but you're in LA. What is those gas prices like right now? Speak to me.
I drive an electric car, so ain't shit to me. Yeah, gas hit $6, and I cut a Google check to buy a electric car. Now I get to charge for free. So
okay.
Not something I have to worry about.
Flex on them, man. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you gotta.
Smartest thing that anybody could do.
Honestly.
One I did kind of want to ask. I'm not sure if you're like keeping up with the Boruto anime news or anything like that, but supposedly there's going to be an announcement in July about the upcoming. Well, I don't even know specifically what it's about, but there's an event where Boruto is actually going to talk. I wanted to get some of y'all predictions. Maybe NC could jump in as well. But if you guys were to give a prediction, what would be the announcement that Boruto was going to have?
In when?
July.
In July. Oh, yeah. That's soon.
And again, in my personal opinion, when I hear Boruto announcement, my expectations go sky high. A movie, a time skip, the manga coming to the anime, the adaptation again, a bunch of stuff. But if there's one thing, what do you guys think it's probably going to be?
I would say probably like the anime is about to start adapting the manga again. If I can give my biggest, I don't think they're going to jump right to the time skip.
Could you imagine, bro? They're like, listen, imagine having to make an announcement about going back to your source material. Like, listen, guys, huge news. We're going back to the book. Yeah. Oh, the bar is in hell, dude. The bar is in hell. Oh my God. No, I mean, so here's the thing. I had somebody bring up a really interesting point to me. And it's that Kishimoto wasn't the one who wrote the time skip. So they're saying, like, are we sure, like in our heart of hearts, the time skip is still technically canon?
Which time skip are we talking about?
We're talking about the first page of Boruto. First page of Boruto.
So it has to be canon because Kishimoto took over the manga again. He continued on with the same source material.
I heard there's going to be some things that are different that they're going to change in that flash forward scene, but I heard it was supposed to still be a part of the story, though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so they did have some of the things, in my personal opinion, they're probably going to have some of the things being changed, but I think that's probably still going to be similar to what actually happens. I don't think they're going to completely scrap the idea of Kawaki being evil. Imagine that blue ball type of story.
Whoa. We're jumping to assumptions here. We don't know that Kawaki's the evil one in that situation.
This is true.
This
is incriminating, my man. Guilty until, or what? Guilty until proven innocent in this podcast, I guess.
And that's Bar's favorite character, too.
Well, the reason why people assume that Kawaki is going to be evil is because he says the
haircut.
What is it?
The haircut.
The time. the time of the shinobi is over. He said something along the lines of that. Essentially saying that there's no more shinobi and Boruto's still fighting for the shinobi. So people automatically assume because he's fighting for the shinobi that he's a good guy. But you never know. Maybe the shinobis in the future start teaming up with the Otsutsuki clan, start teaming up with the Kado organization and have a different vision. I have no idea. I don't know.
Man, I mean, if the announcement is, you know, after the code arc, we're skipping to like the hardcore stuff and we're getting Boruto Shippuden, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. But I don't know. Do you guys feel like they have like after code? Are we in a position like in like Naruto? We were in a position like we're off the train. Like the bad guys are gone or recovering. Like Orochimaru doesn't have his arms. Do you guys think after the code arc we're ready for a time skip?
I believe so. I believe so. A couple of things. Hypothetically, let's say Code is actually going to die and he doesn't necessarily make it past the time skip. They have already set up in place Otsutsuki members that could potentially attack into the future. And not only that, they have already started the kind of narrative that Kawaki is looking a little bit evil. He killed Boruto without hesitation. He was looking at Naruto a couple chapters ago like he was about to attack him or something like that. People had those theories. So they're starting the idea of Kawaki turning evil, and also you already have established villains that you could potentially go to in part 2. And not only that, you already have an established built-in reason upon why Kawaki and Boruto need to get stronger, because as of right now, they're probably not going to be stronger than Code and of course the other Otsutsuki members because of the timeline. I was actually reminded of this a couple days ago when I was in a debate with my guy Mello and Juju. But villains get stronger, and if we assume that the two Otsutsuki members are going to be stronger than Jigen, of course they also have to get stronger for those villains as well. I personally believe narrative wise it makes sense, and not only that, you have to have some of the other characters get very much needed power-ups, in my personal opinion. I think that right there could potentially happen over the time skip.
Well, so hopefully. My thing is you got to look at Mitsuki, right? And you got to look at Sarada. I mean, Sarada's got a 3-tome in the manga right now. Mitsuki is the big one to me, at least, because what's funny is, and what's really interesting and what people don't actually understand from a lore standpoint is that the reason that Mitsuki can't use Snake Sage mode for long is because he's a clone of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru didn't have a strong enough body to use Snake Sage mode. So with the time skip, we'd probably be looking at a perfect and sustained Snake Sage Mitsuki, which would be huge. And then I don't know, like, and then there's the issue around Sarada. Like, Sarada's walking into the time skip with a 3-tome Sharingan, so when does the MS come around? Things like that. So definitely some big upgrades are necessary, but don't you like my issue is like every day I feel like I see Mitsuki and Sarada take a step back. So where do we see them re-entering the storyline here?
You bring up a very good point. In my personal opinion, I agree. One of the questions that I did kind of ask last month, I'm not sure if you're completely up to date with the Boruto manga, but as of right now, they're essentially going to be looking towards actually retrieving Amato, going to Code's hideout, and of course retrieving Amato. I'm asking, are they going to bring Sarada and Mitsuki? And as of right now, damn near everybody is saying no. It's like unanimous.
Yeah.
I think so, like that. It seems like they're just going to hold everybody back, honestly.
And like, well, maybe, yeah. I mean, like when we're talking about like people who can use the karma marking, like being able to absorb all the ninjutsu, the blasts, all of that, the speed, it's crazy. But like, are we just gonna? Is the show? I understand that Naruto fundamentally is about two people, right? It's about Naruto and Sasuke, and like, and sure, we have that situation now. But at the end of the day, Sakura, whether or not people liked her or not, was there. You know, Kakashi was there. Like Konohamaru's not even around, right? Like. Konohamaru isn't nearly as present as Kakashi was. And honestly, I'd say for the better because he's nowhere near Kakashi and never will be. But like, are we doing this show about two people? Yeah. I'm sorry, is that a controversial opinion in this podcast?
On this pod it is. I completely agree. On this pod it is. Shout out to Sarad in the chat. And on this pod, but yeah, you completely right. And I think there has to be a point where you have to incorporate some of the side characters. The difficult thing for Boruto to do right now, and the reason why it's very difficult, Naruto and Sasuke at the very beginning of Boruto established that they were nowhere close to a regular human being or a regular mortal. Yeah. Boruto and Kawaki had to get to that level. Now, they had good reasons upon why they got to that level, but for other characters to get to that level, it's probably going to be very tricky to actually make it make sense. Like, even for Sarada, we talked about this. Her peak, if we're just going off of the Uchiha genes, her peak would probably, if she's lucky, it would be Itachi. That's just if she's lucky. Itachi was a generational Uchiha member. Now, again, even if we just bypass that, say, hey, her peak is adult Sasuke, Kawaki and Boruto are probably still going to be significantly stronger than what adult Sasuke was at his peak. So she would still be like kind of on the side. Like it's very difficult to get, and that's just Sarada. Not even talking about Inojin, Haoki, Chocho, like Shikadai. These characters, in my personal opinion, it's going to be very difficult for them to get that strong and have it make sense. Mitsuki is different in my personal opinion. You could just say, hey, he has science. He's a synthetic human being and plant some scientific ninja tech into him. Now all of a sudden he's like Delta Love or something like that. That'll make sense. But everybody else, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand with the Chocho and the Inojin and all of that, but I mean, then we sit back and we look, it's like, okay, what is Choji doing right now? What is, I mean, Ino's obviously very important to like the scope of the village and all of that, but like, you know, like we're not talking about like incredibly important characters here. My thing is with Sarada, and I recently in the Hokage's video, I talked about this loosely. Yeah, it is going to be tough for her to come, you know, up beside Boruto and Kawaki just because there's a new power system that she'll never get. My thing is though, I'm assuming, hopefully, I have fingers crossed, that one day she will acquire the strength of 100 seal. That's essentially EMS, right? Because she could heal any damage done to her MS. It's a very popular theory. Everyone knows that one. Yep, one that I've kind of been pioneering, one that I've been on the bleeding edge of, I guess, is Naruto's an empty vessel right now, right? Kurama's not around. And there's an extra 10 tails just kind of kicking around. So one day, you know, we could possibly see 10 Tails Naruto. And if we do see 10 Tails Naruto, does he like take the position of Sage of six paths? Does he take over for Hashirama? And if he does take over for Hashirama, well, there's a small problem. Is now, you know, what like you know how he talks, he says, Konoha is my family, so I can't prioritize Boruto and Hinata. It's the worst line a deadbeat father's ever given. But essentially, mine just said, mine at least gave me like, I'm going to get milk, and then it was just like, see you later.
Oh,
but like, my thing is, so maybe one day he becomes Sage 6 Pass, and now he can impart, you know, those hacks onto the people that will actually be protecting the village when he's gone, protecting the whole world, aka Sarada. That's my hope. So that would highball him to adult. That would highball her above adult Sasuke, in my opinion, because stamina. And I think if we've seen anything out of Boruto. If we've seen anything out of Boruto Sasuke, it's the fact that he's a gaming laptop with like a 12-year-old battery. He's got all the cool things. He's got a 3070 in there. Like, he should be able to run the games, but he lasts about a minute. It's like me in high school.
Yo. I think the thing about Sasuke, I get where you're coming from, but I always have a problem with people saying that Sasuke is like low on chakra, because you're right on that. But he had to use his time, space, and jutsu to get places, and that right there took a significant amount of his chakra. Hypothetically, if Sasuke was around now, and let's say post time skip, where Boruto has time, space, and jutsu, Kawaki has it. Hypothetically, Sarada is probably gonna get it. He'd have a lot more chakra than he did. But I just wanted to point that out. I agree with you.
Yeah, no. So that's my thing. Is like he's a bit like a surge protector with like 7 things plugged in, though. You know, like it's like it's working, but like, boy, we're doing a big drain on this. Like it's so like, yes, he's got access to these cool abilities, but without an inhuman amount of chakra like you would get with a strength of 100 seal, it's, you know, like, why do we even have it if it's just gonna like tap us out, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So I definitely gotta ask you this: at their peak, who do you think is gonna be stronger, Mitsuki or Sarada? I mean, I gotta get Mellow opinion on this too.
If I know Kishimoto, it's gonna be Mitsuki, just because, you know, heaven forbid a woman be one of the strongest people in the verse. But I don't see a path for Mitsuki to get stronger than what I've drawn for Sarada. Like, sure, perfect Snake Sage, that probably puts you somewhere in the range of, you know, Naruto during the Pain arc, and then after that, you know, like stretchy arms, Orochimaru. So like, I don't see him being stronger than like War Arc Naruto, and I feel like Sarada's got a higher cap than that.
I got, in my personal opinion, I got Mitsuki just because he's a synthetic human being. He can be altered to a certain extent that Sarada probably can't. But again, this right here is all assuming that Orochimaru is going to be able to do that, because as of right now, Orochimaru just seems like he just gave Mitsuki an imperfect sage one and just say, yo, just live with it. Now, I think they probably cap that just so Mitsuki won't necessarily be killing everybody they come into contact with on the mission. But I don't know. I'm a person who say that I think Mitsuki's probably going to have the highest cap. What y'all think, Melo, free game?
I think one thing that... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melo. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to... You can go. I'll go last.
Oh, I was just going to say that one thing that I think that everybody's still forgetting is that the scientific ninja tech, like, that's going to give characters... Yeah, that's going to give a lot of characters a boost that we're just forgetting about. Like, that's going to close that gap between a lot of characters that we think they're not going to close that gap out. But that's all I wanted to bring in. My bad. Melo, go ahead.
That's why I think Mitsu's probably gonna be higher than Sarada. But we'll go ahead though.
When it comes to those two, there's no secret. Everyone who watches my content knows Sarada's my favorite new gen character, followed by Mitsuki.
Facts. Talk your shit. Let's go.
So either,
right there with you.
Either way, I'm fine, right? But right now, I think there's more evidence to suggest that Mitsuki will be more powerful. I've always said this. Mitsuki to me is akin to like a guy, not in terms of characterization or anything like that, but in part one, Guy was secretly the baddest dude around. We just didn't know.
Hey, he told us. He did tell. He told us he was stronger than Kakashi. We just didn't listen.
Well, that is true. That is true. But I think Mitsuki something akin to that, to where his power is probably just depending on how just looking at how they're handling the character, is most likely a part 2 power. And of course he's going to grow with time as well. But no, I'll give it to Mitsuki for now, but I definitely think being a shonen, inevitably Sarada is going to reach there. You talk about and I did want to address the whole Sage of Six Paths thing briefly, but for Sarada, I talk about dojutsu mutation, right? The Byakugo is an easy one, but for me, the EMS in and of itself is a mutated version of the Mangekyo, just using an external element with the internal. So for me, give her a new variant of the Sharingan using some external element. It could come through scientific ninja tech, like Free Game said. But no matter what you choose to do with her, just know she's going to be busted. They're already training for the Otsutsuki per the last couple of chapters. Now with the Sage of Six Paths thing, I did want to mention one thing about that though. I understand your premise, but with Naruto becoming the Sage of Six Paths, the thing that made Hagoromo like that guy that had that kind of influence, it wasn't really just being the Ten-Tailed Jinchuriki. He also had multiple abilities that he possessed before that, and also it's his ideology, his characterization informed the kind of man that he was. So to me, the Sage of Six Paths title is it's less of a power thing and more specific to that character. But I get the general gist of what you're talking about, and just kind of working my way to the very top of the topics you guys were covering. How relevant will Mitsuki and Sarada be in the next coming arc? I think there's like 2 ways you can kind of look at this. Number one, Mitsuki and Sarada were there when Sasuke learned from Ino about the enemies in the village. So they saw Boruto and Sasuke run off. Logically speaking, based off the dialogue that they had prior, they're not going to want to, like, they were expressing regret for not being there for Boruto, right? So they're going to want to at least bare minimum follow, and then from them following, they'll gain information, and then from there we can say that they'll either choose to go or have the option to go or not. Now, the second thing is you can say, okay, well, if they do go, what can they do, right? Well, this is why I always say, for characters like Code, Ada, and Damon being at the top of the top, typically you're going to want captains, lieutenants, grunt. Not only do they kind of spread out the story a little bit, but it also serves to give the side characters something to do. So that's something that they can implement to allow Sarada and Mitsuki to provide a relevance. And there's another route though, right? Before Amato was taken, he also said, Kawaki's not ready. He needs to. He alluded to him needing to train. So there could be like some mini time skip arc to where Code just got these new powers. Maybe his body needs to adjust, similar to a Toneri on the moon, to where he got the Tenseigan, but he couldn't use it immediately. This could give us a time buffer and allow our characters to grow in strength. And if we kind of scale Sarada and Mitsuki to Kawaki and Boruto, not in terms of power, but in terms of them participating in Kawaki and Boruto's training with what I would assume would be Naruto and Sasuke, since they're the most powerful, then they'll definitely have a substantial jump in their power, scaling wise, and then they can provide more relevance from there. So
well,
that'll be just my takes.
So my issue with Toneri though, right, isn't he technically like trapped in stasis for the rest of time?
Oh no, so me using Toneri as an example goes back to Naruto, the last movie, when he took Hinabi Hyuga's eyes. They were in the process of developing into the Tensei, but while that was happening, he was basically kind of, his body needed to adjust. He was having headaches, so on and so forth. So that, I'm drawing that comparison to a Code, to where his body is going to need some time to adjust to the new power that he's re-emerging. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I guess there really is a path for a lot of them, and I guess I would like, I mean, since we are talking about Toneri, if I want Mitsuki to advance, I think we maybe, because I stand on the theory that he is partially at least like from Toneri, because considering the fact that Snake Sage mode looks very close to Toneri's Tensegon mode, Chakra Cloak. Also the fact, just like he's always looking at the moon, these kinds of things. So I'd like to think that there's a little bit of connection there. So maybe like he taps into what could be an Otsutsuki like chakra signature that allows him to achieve the strength of both Kawaki and Boruto and keeps them relevant. That'd be really cool to me.
Well, there's two things with that though too, right? Because you can also say Mitsuki accompanying them to Code's compound would also serve a relevancy as it pertains to figuring out whether or not he's an Otsutsuki, because he'll have direct contact with Ada, and if he is an Otsutsuki, it doesn't work on him, right? Her abilities don't work on Otsutsuki. So then that's like by proxy a confirmation that he has Otsutsuki elements. If we're gonna go down that route, and also Boruto can sense where Kawaki is. Now this is theoretical, of course, but maybe if Mitsuki was an Otsutsuki, Boruto would be able to sense him by now. Just some things to throw out there, but something to think about for sure.
Yeah, facts.
Something I never really thought about.
Yeah, but we got a super chat probably about 15 minutes ago at this particular point. Shout out to my guy Saran. He basically said he this right here was in reference to Sasuke. He says he ran out of chakra in one arc. It was just one. I get it. Now, the big thing about Sasuke, in my personal opinion, is just that it's a meme at this particular point that he runs out of chakra. It's not necessarily anything like too. One of the other things, he kind of had low chakra in the Shin Uchiha arc, and that kind of established that Sasuke. That was very early, and that kind of established that Sasuke had problems with his chakra. That's it.
Sasuke can't keep it up. Easy as that.
I was about to
Easy as that.
Arcs. He said he can't keep it up.
Yeah, easy as that. Listen, it gets harder when you get older. We all, I mean, not that we gotta worry about that, but that's just where he's at in his life.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
poor soccer.
Poor soccer. That's why they only got one kid. And Naruto got two.
Exactly. I mean, that also, isn't that weird that Naruto was the only dude who had two kids?
I didn't even notice that he's the only one with two.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's weird.
Nobody else went in for two.
Have you seen Hinata? I mean,
bro, have you seen Ino?
I mean, what is I doing?
Like, come on. Have you seen any of them? I would listen. One chance, bro. Listen, 1010's got zero. I mean, unless actually 1010 technically has one kid. If you don't think Metal is 1010's child, I mean,
oh my god,
get out of here. Confirmed it. They still haven't confirmed
Which
it.
is like what are we waiting for? I don't like. Also, like, where's Metal been at? If we're being entirely real, like, I don't know, man. Like,
he was in his arc. He was in the arc. He fell in love.
True.
He fell in love.
I mean, I've kind of been on the manga recently, but like, man, dude, I mean, like, the fact that this kid has a natural drunken fist, an anxiety-based drunken fist, like, how are we not leaning into that? How are we not giving this man just like anxiety hands on deck? It's a miss for me. It's
and
a
he
huge
can
miss
open
for
up
me.
the first gate. Like,
yeah,
you don't get none of that. I was hoping we got that in this little war arc that we had. At least see him open up the first gate, or like you said, the anxiety hands. That would have been dope, but they're not fleshing out the side characters.
No, I mean, Hoki got a pretty cool fight against Inogen. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was all right. But
Man, the Hoki hype for a couple of days.
Himself. Yeah, Hoki got to be in some more arcs. But speaking of the Boruto manga, no one fully knows how strong Code is actually going to be. But I wanted to have your opinions about this because I pressed free game and my guy Mello with this already. In regards to Code Unlimited, do you think do you think he's close to Jigen or Ishiki Otsutsuki in regards to power?
I mean, it's a good question. So I guess it kind of boils down to what we understand about the karma, right? So, I mean, Black Karma, obviously, eventually it Otsutsufies you, and whether or not you like it one day, you're pretty much 100% Otsutsuki, and then you get taken over. With a White Karma, have we really established whether or not he's being Otsutsufied?
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So the fact that he's being Otsutsufied and the fact that he's had that White Karma for so long, I feel like he's going to scale to Ishiki levels rather than Jigen levels, but the only problem is he doesn't have the dojutsu that like Ishiki so heavily relied on.
Wait, hold on. So the White Karma does not Otsutsusify you though.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't rewrite your DNA.
Like the power. But the power is supposed. supposedly he gets the power from Ishiki Otsutsuki. I don't necessarily think it's going to be 100%, but with that boost plus the plus him being unlimited, I'm pretty sure that he himself got stronger over the years. I got into a debate and somebody kind of brought that to my attention. I think it's possible, but I'd still scale him close to Jigen, just my personal opinion. But no one really knows at this particular point, to be honest.
Well, the way that I look at it is it's a bit like fighting a tail beast, right? So if you just meet Isobu out in the wild, he'll probably, like, I think if you meet Isobu out in the wild, Isobu would be an easier fight than if you were fighting a perfect Jinchuriki of Isobu, because there's added. You know, like now I can use all of the chakra of this tail beast, and there's the fact that I was trained and I have my own abilities and all of these things. So when you combined a move set to an already existing move set, you get a stronger overall person, and that's why I think and also just with the way that shonen goes, you have to power up. And I understand that Naruto obviously is Baryon mode, and now we're talking about Boruto and Kawaki having to deal with this, not Naruto and Sasuke. But I don't think he'll be Ishiki level, but I do think he'll be stronger than Jigen. Because remember, Jigen was just a monk. Like Jigen was nothing. You know, like Jigen was a guy who got a brain worm.
But Jigen was being controlled by Ishiki Otsutsuki. Remember, when Momoshiki takes over Boruto, he's significantly stronger than when Boruto just is using Momoshiki's power. So I think that right there probably offsets it.
And it seems like all the characters in the show just use Jigen as this power cliff. Like they don't really use Ishiki. They don't say like this character is stronger than Ishiki. They always say like he has androids or whatever you want to call him stronger than Jigen. It's always Jigen. It's never Ishiki. You never hear them mention Ishiki like that.
Well, even Naruto didn't say Ishiki's name. He just called him Otsuki. He was just like, come fight me, Otsutsuki. And I was like, that's mad disrespectful. I like that. I like that energy. He was, I'm not even gonna say your first name. He knew his first name too, and he was like, he just like basically like called him by his typing. It's like, step up. That was huge.
With that, there's a narrative reason, of course, though, right? Because like Ishiki, he got folded pretty early on in the history of the verse, right? Predating Hagoromo, and then from there on, any interactions that anyone would ever have with him would be through Jigen, so they wouldn't scale Ishiki. He was never before seen. Now, when it comes to unlimited code, some people say you can't power scale this character because you don't have any feats for him. Right. But for me, that doesn't really hold water, right? The past informs who you are in the present and who you will be in the future. So all we need to do is look at the past and how he operates. So what do we know about the character? Well, we know primarily when it comes to power, he focuses in on the karma seal, right? So I think at the end or towards the end of Boruto chapter 63, he alludes to him not the reason why he's so powerful is not just because he has the power of the Otsutsuki, but also the knowledge, right? A millennia's worth of combat experience. So then we know definitively Code has access to the power of Ishiki Otsutsuki. We can throw in knowledge as well, but just to simplify it, just say power. Then from there, the question would then be, okay, well, why doesn't he have all the power, right? Because we do know if he did, he wouldn't be weaker than Jigen, which is why the limiters were placed there to begin with. So then the most logical conclusion from there would be, okay, well, the limiters limit the access that he has from the Karma Seal power-wise, right? So with the limiters off, you can make a logical induction and say that he's going to have 100% access to Ishiki's powers, but because a dojutsu is a Kekkei Genkai that affects you on the genetic level, and the white karma does not rewrite your genetics, he should not have any distinguishing characteristics of an Otsutsuki like a horn or a dojutsu, right? So when you scale him to an Ishiki, you have to do it through the power and knowledge, not necessarily the skill or hack-based abilities that derive from rewritten genetics. And for me with this, just in summary, like Occam's razor, right? Like the simplest explanation is most likely the one we go with, right? Yep. So I don't feel the need to like parse it out too much, right? Because it's a one-to-one kind of logic type thing there. But no, that's just my take on it. I think he's more Ishii in terms of power, not even factoring in his new eye, right? This dojutsu that could be potentially something. Obviously, this is the Naruto Boruto verse. And then, of course, like NC was saying, a tailed beast is going to be inferior to a Jinchuriki who has all of their abilities plus tailed beast. So we can say Code is superior to Jigen the monk, right? Not Jigen the monk influenced by Ishiki. So therefore, he'd be plus Ishiki clearly. But yeah, that's just my take on it.
I like this. That was very death battle in your scaling there. Is that why Bara opened up calling you the scaler out here?
Yep.
I like that. No, it's good. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think just shonen rules. You never like, when was the last time like we're like, oh, this one antagonist is weaker than the last one we fought? You know, it's just as time goes on and shonen anime lose their minds 300 episodes in, eventually, you know, remember when the show was about ninjas and not like space mechs fighting gods? So as time goes on, definitely things get stronger, and I like that explanation.
Yeah, Mello always does a deep dive. That's yep.
Yeah, my only thing to that, and again, no one really knows, but my only thing to that, Nancy, you kind of brought up a little bit earlier. Ishiki Otsutsuki was more of a villain for Naruto and Sasuke, and specifically Barrymore Naruto. Hypothetically, if Barrymore Naruto was still here, then I'd expect for this unlimited code to be stronger or up there with Ishiki Otsutsuki. But because it's not him, I'm not completely there yet. But I definitely did have another question. Again, another question I pressed everybody else with. I gotta press you with this. 2v1, who wins, Code or Kawaki and Boruto with their new powers, of course?
I mean, so I guess the problem is really where the problem doesn't lie with Boruto. The problem to me lies with Kawaki. Just because, and we talked about this last time I was on the podcast, of how inconsistent the scaling on Kawaki seems to be. So, you know, we've seen Kawaki block faster than light beams, right? So, I mean, are we scaling him at FTL, or are we scaling him as a dude who got hit by a couple of kunai? So like, then obviously now we're talking much later. We're talking 50 episodes later. We're talking, you know,
it's kunai level, bro. Kunai level.
Exactly. So the problem to me doesn't arise with Boruto, because I feel like with Boruto we have a very concrete. We have a couple of feats that are very concrete and very consistent. So if you're getting to me what is peak Kawaki, you know, faster than light, you know, regeneration, the ability to absorb ninjutsu, the blasts, all of that. And full unprecedented karma usage, especially with an 80% Otsutsuki body, I feel like I have to scale them above Code. But whether or not Code in the next couple of chapters here is going to see an upgrade that puts him above what those two can accomplish, I feel like we're going to.
When it comes to them, I'm sorry. You wanna go?
No, go ahead, Rocco.
So when it comes to them individually, Kawaki and Boruto, for me, you take a look at like when was the last time? So we know Kawaki and Boruto specifically as vessels, they draw power depending on how much of the karma has extracted up into that point. So we do know Boruto is 82% ish, and Kawaki was 80% ish, right? So Momoshiki takes over Boruto's body, and at most he can be 82% plus Boruto's chakra, because Boruto still had that. So he's around 82, 83 ish. Right. So when you look at the manga, he's relative to Code, or rather Kawaki, right? Like Kawaki didn't have some great advantage, even though he's progressively getting stronger as he learned more about his abilities. So they were relative to each other. So you can kind of say like, you know, they're around 80-ish%, right? So then you would backtrack to like a someone like Sage of Six Paths Naruto, who's going up against Fuse Momoshiki. Now there is a debate, right? Like, is the power that Boruto's relying on Fuse Momo reverted back into base form? Or is it just base form Momoshiki and he doesn't maintain or rather retain any of the power from Kinshiki? I think it's Fuse Momo reverted back into base form, which to me tells me that he'll probably transform at some point in the future. But that's just my headcanon, my theory.
So wait, can I ask you a question on that? So absolutely. Essentially you're saying that what lives within Boruto isn't a Fuse Momoshiki, it's just Momoshiki.
I personally think it is Fuse Momo reverted back into base form, and at some point in the future, he'll probably transform back into that that visual that we saw as Fuse
with
Momo.
The gold Rinnegan and all that, yeah.
Right, because Fuse Momo's horns got destroyed from that that clash with Boruto, and then you look at Momoshiki post-death, he has destroyed horns. So what affected Fuse Momo goes on to then inform us as to why post-death Momoshiki has damage as it pertains to his horns. So that to me is like almost definitive that it is him. The Fuse version just reverted back.
See that thing, but what's interesting about that though is what we know based off Otsutsuki structure, right? Is that the lower ranking Otsutsuki, the one who's going to be fed to the 10 tails to make the god tree, will usually have a karma marking out there, correct? So if Kinshiki, let's say now his chakra has dissipated from Momoshiki, or even is still in there, but like Kinshiki's physical body is actually dead, is there somebody out there who's gonna become Kinshiki?
So to me, this would be like inductive reasoning, right? Like you have like a definitive statement, but like the evidence is circumstantial.
Of course.
So I wouldn't rely on that primarily. Now, in terms of like a theory, love it. Might make a video about it actually. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
But in terms of like analysis, I wouldn't go with that first and foremost. I would just kind of look at what we have to work with in the established lore first.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've said the same thing about Kaguya, because Kaguya, you know, obviously was the lower ranking Otsutsuki with Ishiki. And I guess I have a question for you guys, because, you know, this is the forefront of anime knowledge here. And I was wondering what your guys' opinion was, and I guess how you think we got to this point, in that there's two-tailed beasts on Earth. So I've seen a couple of interesting theories, but, you know, most of them stem from the fact that, you know, Ishiki and Kaguya brought two. Why would they bring two? Because Momoshiki and Kinshiki didn't bring any. So how did we end up with two-tailed beasts, two ten-taileds, like, on Earth? And do you guys think that there's some like linear connection between what Kaguya told us in the beginning, that, you know, a seed falls off a meteor and falls onto an Earth, and the Otsutsukis go around looking for these god tree seeds, and that somehow she absorbed the god tree, became a 10 tails, in reverse of what we're told in Boruto? So what do you guys think is like the linear reasoning for how we got here?
I think hit it over.
No, I was gonna say I have absolutely no idea. One of the things that I've said for a very long time is that
Mel was about to give an answer.
That's
a hell of an answer.
I personally believe a lot of things that we learned about the Otsutsuki clan, about Kage Otsutsuki, and about Hagoromo from Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, I think a lot of that is BS. And I think it's BS because no one really knows what happened pre-Kage. Because of that, I mean, there's not really a lot of things that we could truly go off and say that right there is a fact. And even Amado, when Amado was kind of breaking things down and explaining some things, we see a couple of things that were like incongruent with the story that we got from Naruto Shippuden. And of course, we kind of found out that what was fact was what Amado was saying. So a lot of things that did actually happen in Naruto, or what they did actually say, I question a lot of it. Similar to like Kage is like the princess, Kage is like no one can really rival Kage can't die, a bunch of things like that. I personally believe they're BS.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I like that. You're retconning everything we learned in the war arc then.
I wouldn't say that. I think the narrators that we did have, Hagoromo and Black Zetsu, they'd be knowledgeable of things that happened post Kage's arrival or post her having children. So I don't necessarily throw out everything, but pre-Kage or pre her having children, I kind of throw it out just a bit. I take it with a grain of salt, kind of. Put it like that.
Okay. It's kind of like reading the Bible, I guess, and like you just hoping it's correct.
Yeah. Like, this 4,000-year-old book. Let's like throw a couple of Hail Marys in here. I like that. I mean, I'm kind of in the same camp. You know, the most recent information is the correct information to me. You know, I feel like when we look back at what the problem to me still becomes, though, like, why is there two 10 tails?
Mm-hmm. So my take on that is like, if you look at Ishiki's 10 tail, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
It's referred to as the juvenile, which suggests that they're a mature one, right? Which also suggests that they come in ages, which might suggest that they actually reproduce, right? So for me, I would say that because his is the juvenile seeing 10 tails, then obviously Kaguya's would predate it, and also it would be stemming from Kaguya's 10 tails, from like some reproductive lineage. I always ask the question, and I do have a video up about this in more detail if anyone in chat is interested. Dojutsu mutation as it pertains to the seedlings, like why do they possess dojutsu to begin with, right? And it kind of goes really deep, to be honest, a little too deep for this podcast right now. But
I'm gonna watch that after this.
But it's more so like if you look at Kaguya with her Rinne Sharingan, right? She had an offspring in Hagoromo, and then her Rinne Sharingan mutated into like the Rinnegan and Sharingan separately, right? So it would be something akin to that, where a seedling arrives on a planet, and the primary power mechanic of that planet would be, I don't know, the Sharingan as an example, right? So then that seedling would absorb the knowledge and power of that world, so therefore it would possess the Sharingan from that process. And then it goes on to reproduce, and then you would get your juvenile 10 tails. And then from there, it would mutate, the Sharingan that it has mutates into some other variant, right? This is why you get so many diversity of dojutsu in the verse, like Ishiki's dojutsu or Tenseigan or Byakugan or all of these type of dojutsus, because of constant reproduction and mutation produces new jutsu. And I would say that this is definitely a theory, but I think it's very logical, because when Kaguya consumed the chakra fruit, she gained the dojutsu. So obviously the power comes from the genetics of the Ten Tails, right? So the question would be, why is there so much diversity when it comes to dojutsu? And I think that's an interesting premise to present. But that would be my answer.
I like the way you tap Mello. I'm gonna have you on my page one time. You and me, bro. We're doing a collab. I like how informative and scientifically you approach this stuff. Here I am, like talking about how the Cloud Village is like. I was like, Cloud Village is the strongest village because of like agricultural advancement, and everyone was like, yo, this shit is heat. And I was like, all right, cool. So I gotta have Mello on the page at some point. Me and him could just talk about like the genetic splicing of the Sharingan.
Yo, so my explanation probably isn't as drawn out as Mello's or mundane as Bara's, but I honestly, this is going to probably be a little bit wacky. I think Amado created that Ten Tails. Kind of sort of how like what is his name? Victor? Yeah, Victor. Remember Victor created a god tree?
Yeah.
Kind of like how
3 seconds.
For like what? You said for like 3 seconds?
For like 3 seconds, yeah.
He got folded by it.
Yeah.
Orochimaru. But yeah, that was been my theory for like a while. Maybe Amado has something to do with this juvenile Ten Tails. Maybe it's like a scientific Ten Tails, something like that, because that's what Jigen was primarily like basing all of everything off of, was Amado's like research and stuff like that. So that's why I think probably Amado has something to do with that Ten Tails, because that would make it so it's not retconning what happened in the war arc, but it make sense at the same time to fit the storyline. You know, everything's scientific, so Amado having a hand in creating that Ten Tails. I don't know. That was just my theory.
Huh.
Yeah. When I first seen that Ten Tails, or kind of still right now, I believe that Ishiki probably just stole that Ten Tails from a different dimension. It's just that simple.
Or that.
I don't necessarily. Yeah, I believe that Ishiki is strong enough to actually go around dimension to dimension, terrorizing a bunch of people, playing like a bunch of god trees. And if he happens to see a Ten Tails that's kind of loose, or a juvenile Ten Tails that no one really cares about, he'll probably be able to deblock it. He'll probably.
Come here, boy! Just like lassos him, just rips him into whatever dimension he wants. I love that for him.
Throw the what's that Pokeball called? The strong
Master
Pokeball?
Ball?
The Master Ball at him real quick.
Honestly, if I saw Ten Tails, I feel like I would use my Master Ball as well. So I can't say I blame him.
Do you guys think he could? Do you guys?
Real quick, NcHammer, the way you answer that Master Ball question so quickly, do you like Pokemon? Are you watching Pokemon? Are you a Pokemon fan?
I'm
Pokemon
not
lit
watching
right now.
Pokemon currently, but I am.
Pokemon's dope right now.
Well, listen, no, I saw Ash become, you know, champion. I've done Alola. Alola. Am I fucking this up?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But anyways, no, Hoenn? Whatever. Whichever one was the one we were just on. Regardless, no, what I'm most excited for is the 9th gen coming up with the competitive and the co-op and all of that. Pokemon is going in the right direction right now. That is for sure. I'm very excited. Also, they named a pig Lechonk. So what more could we ask for, really?
How you like the Mewtwo, like the different forms of Mewtwo, like Mewtwo X, and I don't know if you like up on that.
Oh yeah, these are the OGs that we're talking about here. This is the shout out stuff, or like the nostalgia stuff. I loved all of it. I collected the cards growing up. I had no idea how to play the game was the issue. So I would just like kind of like throw them down and always lose. At least that's what the older kid told me. They're like, oh yeah, you lost, and I was like, all right, bet. Yeah, no, I still had fun. So
I've never went through it and fully completed any Pokemon game. But sorry, go ahead.
You simply can't. You just it doesn't happen. Eventually one person's just like, I attacked your life points, and I was like, I didn't know this was Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we just call it right there. And no one ever figured it out. I played the games. I hated Arceus, but I'm really excited. I'm really excited for Gen 9. That's for sure.
That's what's up.
I didn't want to like branch out too much for Pokemon, because I know a lot of people don't really watch it. But
no, you're totally fine. By the way, Jebster, if it's not the Celtics, I lose my house because I'm from Boston and I got the whole mortgage on the Celtics. So I wanted him to know that.
I mean, you're looking good.
Or specifically right Game 5 of the series.
He said,
Game 5 of the series.
Whole mortgage on the game.
Whole mortgage is on the Celtics. So if it's not, Listen, if it's not the Celtics, I'm starting OnlyFans tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
All right. There's gonna be some costs that need to be recouped.
You'll be dropping 1 billion videos a day.
Yo.
Exactly, bro. Yo, guys, welcome back to Every Kick Again Guy Explained Part 47. All right. Today we're talking Crystal release. Sure, it was only in 7 episodes, but I need money. All right. Speaking of plans, though, boys, I gotta run here. I got dinner plans.
Oh no, you're good.
No problem, bro. No problem.
One of the last questions I definitely have to ask is a personal question. How much tattoos do you have? Because I noticed you have a lot.
I got a full sleeve. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then me and my buddy picked out tattoos for each other and put them on our legs. So he gave me a winged Karibo, even though I've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So I just have a fluffy ball with eyes on my ankle that I don't necessarily understand. But yeah, I will one day be entirely covered. So
who are the other characters that you have?
I have Gon, Pito holding Kite's head, Meruem and Komogi's death scene. I have Netero's death scene with the poor man's rose behind him. Minato doing the Reaper death seal. Calcifer, Unugasai covered in blood holding an axe. Killua holding Sasuke's decapitated head.
Wow.
You are doing these decapitated heads, bro.
Yeah. This was so I did this was way back in the day of content. I told everybody, because I hate Sasuke, I was like, man, if I get to, I think it was 15,000 subs on Twitch, I would get a tattoo of Sasuke, but I never said doing what. So it's a tattoo of Sasuke with his Rinnegan activated and his Sharingan, and Killua's holding his decapitated head in Godspeed mode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the theme to my sleeve right now is just general violence. It's adult Gon covered in blood. I think every single one of the tattoos actually is covered in blood except for Minato, which I'm probably gonna update.
Yeah, this is great. And what's your next tattoo?
Noelle in her Valkyrie mermaid armor.
Ooh, okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, and then I gotta do, I kind of want to do Netero's 100 Hands Shiva on my back. And then, I got a couple of other ideas. I kind of want to get something from, I kind of want to get something from JJK. I want to get something from AOT. There's a couple I need to get done for sure.
Man. Very nice. Bro. Next time we got to catch you when you got a little bit more time on your hands, because I got a lot of questions to ask you about different anime.
Okay, yeah, bet. No, listen, my girlfriend is in Europe for the next 2 weeks, so I'm free as a bird, bro.
All right, cool. Yeah, we definitely have to catch you. We got some more time.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, definitely.
Always, man.
Anytime.
Right, bye, guys.
Later.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. This was a kind of a quick one, but it was a enjoyable one. Thank you everybody for joining us on the Cloud Ninja podcast episode. What episode? I keep on forgetting. 34, right?
34, a short one, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a short one. We'll be back with you guys on Saturday. Thank you everybody for joining us. Have a good night.
All right.